All right, so season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, the franchise to put housewives on the map. Thank you very much. So I was pleasantly surprised with this season opener. I was excited for the new season and kind of like getting some fresh faces in the beginning. So after Sheree and Marlo left, I was like, thank God. We can talk about that later. But I was like, okay, they're gone. We're going to get some new people. I'm excited. And then I started seeing all the like leaks and the videos and like Phaedra coming back, like all these like random cashews, that whole thing with Kenya. It was a mess. And I was like, ugh, I don't know about this season. And then heard the trailer was, I don't even remember if I watched the trailer, but I do remember people saying they didn't like the trailer and they were like, it's kind of mid, like whatever. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this, right? But I was like cleaning and I was like, I need a little something to, listen to. And I put it on and I was actually like entertained and I really liked it. So I'm excited. I'm going to give it a chance. I hope y'all roll with me on this journey and, hopefully we'll stay pleasantly surprised, or if not, we'll see. I was going to say I have no problems like not watching the season, but once I start something, it is hard for me to not watch it. I usually 9 times out of 10 stick it out, like I did with Housewives of New York. But again, that's another discussion. So anyways, I'm excited to dive in. Let's go ahead and jump in the recap. I am going to do my best to not go into like super duper detail, but like enough detail that it feels good. So if you're here for that, stick around and let's get into it. But where are my nanners? Let me introduce myself. My name is Tierney and welcome to the Tears Take. That's the name of this channel. So I upload weekly reality recaps. So if you love the Real Housewives and all of their antics, this channel is for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and like this video because I know you're going to like it. So just do it now. And also by liking the video, that helps support the channel and it helps to actually send my videos to other Bravo lovers like yourself. So win-win. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the episode kicks off with, kind of like spotlighting each of the women and, some of the things that they're going through this season and just kind of gives a overview of like what we're going to expect and what we're going to see this season. And then it, highlights like Portia and the things that she was dealing with. So we'll get more into that later. Then it kind of lands on the title card of the show. And I got to say, it looks great. They all look amazing. It's interesting. We see Portia and Shamia holding down that center peach spot. But Shamia looks more in the middle. So if you look at the card, you'll see like I said, they're both in the middle. Shamia's like up a little bit higher than Portia. Because I think Portia's like sitting down or something. And then it looks like Shamia's like bigger, not physically bigger. Like we know, I think she's honestly shorter than Portia and smaller, but I'm talking about like, it looks like she's more in the forefront, just a little bit. And I said, So it really looks like Bravo, or at least the producers they're really like pushing Shamia as like the it girl of the show and like the center. And like Shamia says it herself in like her intro that she's the glue of this group. I'm curious though if that's going to last. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. She's always played second fiddle. Like even though she was just a friend of all these years, she never gave main girl energy. Because you know how sometimes like someone is introduced as a friend and people are like, oh no, I really like her. Like she's that girl, da, da, da. Like I don't think anyone's really said that about Shamia. So I'm interested to see like how that plays out and if she can actually rise to that, center peach. Because just because you know everybody doesn't mean you're that girl, right? Like we've seen that on Housewives of Dubai, like first season 1. See, I forgot that lady's name, but the really rich lady who was kind of like the center of the group. She got ousted like season season two. We've seen how so we've seen it in multiple like instances that like the main person can't be created. Okay, they just rise to the top. Okay, so we'll see. So then we see Shamia coming home to her gorgeous mansion. Sterling Hall is the name, and she is pretty much just showing us how rich she is, rich in life and monetarily. So we see her and her beautiful family. She has two girls. She has a lot of family in her life, gorgeous home. Her man installs HVAC systems into really big establishments like airports. And she also is a host, a former dancer. She sings. I think she acts. So she pulls in some money too. And so they're really successful together. So I have heard before that her man didn't want her to be on the show and didn't want her to be full time. And so I'm interested now as to what changed. It seemed like he was supportive of her. It seems like in the like little glimpse we've seen so far that she is still like her full self around him. And so it doesn't seem like he's too controlling or anything. I don't know. I'm just wondering what changed. If that was even the case. Maybe it wasn't the case. So anyway, we will see more about that. Ciao. So next we head over to Drew Sidora's house and we check in with her. And she is still going through her divorce with Ralph. He's been banished to the basement. And they have this like weird court order that like he still lives in the house, but he stays in the basement. And then Drew can't go in the basement unless she has permission. And then Drew has to leave, I don't know, every other week, every 2 weeks so he can come in the house. It sounds a mess. I'm like, what kind of lawyers y'all got? Y'all need to call Randy because Randy don't play those games. You need to get well, child, see, now you done pissed Portia off, so she's not going to want to share her lawyer. Anyway, it's a mess. I don't know what Drew's doing, but it's Drew. Like, I feel like everything surrounding Drew is just chaos and confusion and like things that don't make sense. So go ahead, Drew. She's like the perfect like Sheree substitute. She's like a baby Sheree, except let me stop. But she like the delusion and the foolery that's attached at all times is very Sheree. It's Sheree coded. So then we see Kenya come over. My girl Kenya, she's all skinny mini. I said, okay, Kenya, I see you. So Kenya comes over and they just start talking about like the divorce and all of that. So that's how we start getting that information about Ralph. And then Drew mentions that she was doing music with Dennis. and Kenya's like, Dennis who? And Drew has that big old smile on her face. Like, Dennis, like, you know Dennis. Kenya's like, Portia's Dennis? And so basically, Drew has been, Drew has been working with Dennis. Apparently music is Mr. Hot Dog Man's like newfound passion. And instead of working with like Jazzy Faye or Jermaine Dupri or any reputable music producer in Atlanta, she said, I'm going to go with my friend's baby daddy who has no musical experience and wants to work with him. So I'm like, girl, someone online said that, this is giving like storyline and produced and this is just like her orchestrating it. And I'm like, yeah, that could very well be true, but it's also Drew. And Drew, like I said, like I don't know, there's something up there that's not all the way right. And I don't know. I feel like this could be a real thing. Like she really could be working with this man thinking she gonna pop off, musically. I know she's done music in the past, but there's always room to grow. Like season 2. Okay. So then, they keep talking about Dennis and she's like talking about, Drew's like, oh, Dennis has been a saving grace. He's been like an angel to me. I'm like, whoa, slow your roll. Like those are like some strong words and strong, like, I don't know. That's like seems like a very strong emotional tie for someone you're just working with and doing music with. Like she, child, we gonna find out. We gonna find out what you're up to, Drew. I don't know. And then, in her, they had a flashback of her on the phone with him, and in her phone it said Dennis, bro. I'm like, oh girl, Drew, I can't with you. I love the mess though. Like I wouldn't want this mess in my real life. I'd probably have to beat your ass. But on TV, it's funny. So, I am interested to see where this goes. I don't think it's gonna go well. So Kenya asked Drew, what does Portia think about this? Like, does she know? Drew looked caught. Drew was, she looked caught. And she was like, yeah, Portia knows. And then like later on she said, or was it in this? And then like later on in the conversation, she was like, yeah, Dennis talked to her, so she's all good. And I'm like, Dennis talked to her? Dennis doesn't owe her anything. I think Dennis owes Portia is to be a good co-parent, and there for Pilar. But Dennis doesn't owe her like, hey, do I have permission to hang out with so and so? No, if you're her friend and that's your girl, you need to, per girl code, chapter 2, article 9, if you have any dealings with an ex, first of all, no dealings with exes or baby daddies. If you must have said dealings with exes or baby daddies, then you need to like give proper notification and come respectfully. I have a feeling Drew did none of that, and that's why she was looking all scared when Kenya asked her, and then she was like, oh, Dennis talked to her. Absolutely not. Girl, no. So I'm seated for this. I don't know about y'all, but this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. Let me know below your thoughts. Like, does Drew owe Portia an explanation, or just like a courtesy call? Or is that okay that Dennis only reached out? Or is it not a big deal and she didn't need to do it? Y'all know where I stand. I want to know where you stand. Let me know below. So then we go over to one of the newbies. Her name is Kelly, and she is hosting like a birthday party for her oldest daughter. And there seems to be a lot there. So like, I'm like, okay, Kelly, all right. So she's really successful. She has her own restaurant. She has her own like gold infused like maple syrup, because her restaurant's a chicken and waffles place. And so she has like related products and a mimosa line, and she's doing it. And she is finalizing a divorce. She was married, I think, for 11 years, going through a divorce for the past 2 years. So now she's at the tail end of things and finalizing that. And she has 4 daughters. And so there seems to be a lot there, and a lot of story there. She mentioned, I don't know if she's ever going to go into the details of her marriage, but she did mention that her marriage was no longer safe for her. And so that's all she's going to say for now. But, I guess we can put 2 and 2 together and figure out what might have happened. Yeah, I mean, like my take is like, okay, she has a lot of story there. Obviously, we see she is not shy. She has personality. She's ready to like come in, like, as Cynthia said, like, oh, she's coming in hot. So, it's like I have mixed feelings about that. But overall, I feel like my prediction with her is that she's going to like settle in, and she's not going to be team too much for the whole season. We'll see. I'm sure this episode is going to come back and bite me in the ass. But I think she's okay. I think she's okay. And some of her mess is a little needed. So TBD on her, but I have an initial good feeling about her. Oh, and I loved that she gifted her daughter 17 designer purses for her 17th birthday. I said, come through, because that is what I aspire to do. I love that. I love Black women showering their kids with gifts and just like enjoying luxury and just living the high life. So more power to you if you got it like that and you can give your kids the world. I love it. I'm here for it. So that's beautiful. So, child, then we get to Portia. Her ass gets stuck in the elevator. Then she heads over to her divorce attorney's office. She gets there. He's like, oh, yeah, you know where to go. And she's basically sharing that she filed divorce to protect her assets, and she's had questions along the way, but Simon was never good at communicating, or the communication just got worse and worse and worse as the marriage went on. She's had questions, and then finally, when all of these things came out about him, things that she supposedly had been already questioning him about, she went into protection mode, and the only way to kind of protect herself was to enforce the prenup and ask for divorce. So do I believe it? No. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as invested in this because she's not honest. I don't think she's the complete villain in that story. I know Fallon was doing her own thing and pregnant, and then so I feel like they're all wrong. They're all messy. I just feel bad for the kids involved. No one is like completely innocent or like a complete villain in that story. They're all a hot ass mess. So it's like, it's not that Portia stole that lady's husband. It's not that, but it's like, girl, you knew it was messy. You knew that he wasn't like fully sick. Like, you knew, okay? You knew. And if you didn't know, you had the world telling you. So I don't want to hear, oh, I just didn't know. Girl, yeah, you did. You rushed in. You had a young daughter. You rushed in, marrying some man, bringing some man in your house with her, like, or getting a house with him, or whatever it was. Bringing some man around your daughter after like knowing him for a few months and marrying him, and like, that's on you. And like, as a grown ass woman, like, it's one thing if you're single in your 20s, but as a grown woman with a daughter, you have to move differently. And I don't want to hear, oh, I just didn't know. Like, no, because you should have been thinking a little bit more. You should have been more thoughtful about your actions and how it would impact things down the line. So I was just like, spare me with the sob story. Now all the little petty like court filings and like he's not letting her film and all that stuff, sure, I can entertain that. Fine. But I don't want to hear anything from Portia like, I just and she's up here like, yeah, we had a big fight on Valentine's Day, but the day before I just posted like a beautiful picture, and I posted like a beautiful post about us, and I knew things weren't right. I knew things were, going south for us, but I'm old school and I wanted to protect my marriage. No, you were fronting on social media. Stop, because no one told you to post anything. You could have just not posted. I don't think people quite understand that. Like, you can not post. That is a thing. You don't have to like put everything out there. So no, you wanted to make people think that you were living some high life. Oh, vacation. And it's just like, I don't know. If anything, it just is a good reminder that what you see online is not real. There are some like aspirational things and funny things, but if you are ever online and you're like, oh, my relationship doesn't look like that, or my house doesn't look like that, or I don't do vacations like that, child, the people posting it barely have that. So just remember, you're doing fine. You're doing amazing, sweetie. And just keep doing the best you can, because half these people posting that stuff don't have it either. Okay. Child, Portia thought she hit the jackpot and she only got fool's gold. Shout out to Potomac. So then we see Shamia, Britt, and what's her name, Kelly, go out for like a girls' night out, and we kind of learn a little bit more about the newbie Britt. And she's the one who I am less optimistic about. Obviously, we heard about all the drama with her and Kenya, but even this episode, she was showing me things that I was like, ugh, I don't really rock with you like that. So we'll see, but so they have a little girls' night out. They're drinking, whatever, having fun. They get on. So Shamia starts talking about like her party and who she's going to invite, and she lands on Portia. And so they just start talking about Portia, and Kelly says the first of many times, like, oh, why'd she take that lady's husband? And so like Shamia and what's her name, Britt, were like, oh, we're not saying anything. We're just going to drink our tea and whatever. Shamia tries to defend Portia, and she's like, no, you don't know the whole story. Like, you don't know, da da da. Like, don't listen to the blogs. And I'm like, Shamia, I hope when the time comes, because the time will come this episode or this season, I hope that Portia defends you the way you always ride for Portia. We have seen Portia is not the friend to you who we think that you are to her. We've seen it. Portia didn't go to your wedding for some bogus medical condition we have never heard of ever again. We saw like Phaedra like talking about you and supposedly having threesomes or sleeping with Candy, and what's her name? Portia was just sitting there and not defending her friend. And so good luck, Shamia. But if y'all made it this far, then God bless. Then they start talking about Dennis and Drew and how there are rumors that they're dating, that they've been spotted here, they've been spotted there. And then Kelly was like, yeah, Dennis was in my DMs. I was like, Lord. And then Britt, right after that, was like, yeah, I went on a date with him. He got me a diamond necklace. I was like, Atlanta is too damn small. Ugh. If it gets to that point that's a lot of things swapping. Yeah, it's gonna be me. And then Britt shares like, yeah, she was really that girl back in the day and has been on like men's magazines and was a video vixen in high school. And I'm like, bitch, is that legal? Like, what? I wouldn't talk about that. It's a little. So then we have a scene with Portia and Shamia meeting up at a strip club. And one thing I will say, I have my, my gripes with Portia, but one thing I will say about her is that she is a good time. Like, she's someone I would definitely want to get a drink with, want to go to a party with. Like, she definitely has like the good time girl energy. So I'm here for that. I love that they were just like in Atlanta, or I just love how they were just in a strip club because that's part of Atlanta's culture. Like ass shaking, and then they just like throwing back their drinks. It was great. I was here for it. So they meet up, and Shamia tells Portia what Kelly was saying, and Portia was like, girl, what? Like I don't even know her. I want nothing to do with her. I have nothing for her. And then Shamia tells Portia that Drew and Dennis have been hanging out, and Portia is gagged. She's so shocked. So now those seeds have been planted, so we'll see how those play out later. So then we see a little bit of pre-party preparation. So Portia's getting glam. I feel like she got glam for like 10 hours in this episode, but she was getting glam. She calls Cynthia. So it was good seeing Cynthia Cheekbones Bailey on FaceTime. And that's when Portia tells her about Drew and Dennis hanging out, and, Cynthia can't believe it. Then we see Shamia sitting down with Kelly early before the party gets started, and she basically tells her, hey, I shared with Portia that, like, what you said about her. And Kelly was like, oh yeah, I guessed, because Portia's up here making Amazon videos about, who's this girl Kel, and, I don't know about her. We gonna see. So she was like, yeah, I guessed. And basically Shamia was like, just do me a favor, leave me out of it. Talk to her directly, get the information you need, but leave me out of it. If y'all don't want to be cool, that's fine. Just, I don't want to be put in the middle. So they all agreed to do that. So it's time for Shamia's party, and we meet Angela Oakley. I guess she's another peach holder. I didn't hear anything about her, with all the like leaks and things like that. I heard nothing about her. So I was like, who? What? But we have Angela Oakley. She's married to Charles Oakley. Apparently he's an NBA legend. I think he's just before my time. He very well may be a legend. I just never heard of him. But she's very proud of that, honey. She's like, put some respect on my husband's name. My husband. I'm like, okay, girl. So then Kelly meets Cynthia, and once again, she's repeating her line, like, I just want to know why she took that. Like, she said this line. I'm like, girl, how many times did you say your lines in the mirror so that you can say it 5 times in the episode of, I just want to know why you took that lady's husband, because my God. So then Kenya arrives, and she hugs Drew, and she hugs Cynthia, and then she says hi to Britt and Kelly and introduces herself and says that they look beautiful. So she was really nice, I thought, as they were talking about like the divorces, Britt was like, oh, dang, like there's a lot of you guys going through divorce. And so Kenya asked her, she was like, oh, I see your ring. Like, are you married? Are you engaged? I don't see like this, the wedding band. And she's like, oh no, like this, I'm married. Like, that's my second ring. And Kenya was like, oh, is that like your second marriage? And, was she shady or was it a genuine question? Who knows? Like, either way, it was like innocent. It wasn't that deep, whether it was like a little jab or a little, and I don't see why it would be jabby because like, who cares if it was her second marriage, but whatever. Some people were like torn on it. I personally did not think it was shade. I think the shade assassin knows how to throw way better shade than, oh, is that from a different guy? Like, anyway, so then Britt like clarifies, no, it's my upgraded version, and Kenya was like, okay, cool. So like they start joking afterwards, like because she was like, oh, I met him at an insurance convention, and like whatever. So Kenya was just joking and like being silly with her right after that, and things seemed fine. Then Britt goes to tell someone, probably Kelly, like, oh, Kenya seems so standoffish, and I'm like, what, girl, huh? And I don't know, like, what's to come. I'm just like, it's starting to feel like you were gunning for Kenya since the beginning, or you were just threatened by her from the beginning, because Kenya did absolutely nothing wrong. She came in, she said, introduced herself, she said, you look great, she was joking with you, and then now you're like, oh, she was standoffish. It's giving, and I just watched this season, Beverly Hills, it's giving when Eden Sassoon met Kyle and Kim Richards, and they were so nice to her, and then Eden like walks away and was like, oh, they were so mean, they were so awkward, and like, what is playing in your head? So I don't know, that's the vibe I'm getting from Britt. And then Britt like pulls Kenya aside, almost like, Kenya, like, can I have a hug, because you didn't hug me earlier? And Kenya's like, I don't even know you. Like, she's like, well, you hug Cynthia. She's like, she's one of my best friends. Girl, what? Do you think you know Kenya because you've seen her on TV this long? Maybe she like is forgetting that maybe you've been a fan all this time, and now that you're seeing her in person, you don't actually know her. She doesn't actually know you. So it was so odd. So whatever. So when she said that, Kenya was like, girl, let's just go sit down and talk. So Kenya, Kelly, and Britt go to sit down. And that's when they start talking about Portia again, because Kenya's kind of like, okay, so I heard that you said this and da-da-da. So they start talking. Let me rewind, because before Britt pulls Kenya aside, we have to address what happened with Portia. So the party's going great, and then Shamia was told to go outside, and she had a present, and that's giving very much Sweet 16 from MTV days. But anyway, so Shamia goes outside, everyone goes outside to see the gift, and obviously it's a new car, and it's gorgeous, it's like $400,000, and Shamia's just having her moment. She's, getting her really big gift, and everyone's taking pictures and videos, and she's just fawning over it and loving it and so excited. So she's like in the car, and then Portia's traveling behind, like walks up. So she finally arrives to the party like 2+ hours late, and wants to like walk in when the spotlight's on Shamia. No, ma'am. Absolutely not. I would have been like, girl, like Shamia said to the left in the confessional, I would have said that in person. Girl, step aside. Thank you. So she, like, Portia comes, oh, hey, Shamia. Hey. I would have been like, okay. So Portia, we got our eye on you, because that's a little bit of a hater spirit. You missed the girl's wedding. You don't really defend her that much. When it's a big moment, here you come, popping up and like taking some of that attention from her. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, because that did not sit well with me at all. If I walked into my friend's party late and I saw she was having a big moment, you fade into the audience, and then after it's over, then you pop back up like, oh my God, I just got here. I'm so sorry, but I did see your amazing gift and whatever. But that, no, ma'am. So anyway, now we can go back to the Kenya, Britt, Kelly. They all go to sit down, and as they're talking about Portia rolls up, and then the rest of the ladies come. So Kelly says her famous line again. Oh yeah, Portia, I just want to know why you took that lady's husband. And Portia's like, what? That's your opening line? No, do better. Like, mm-mm. And then shortly after that, after Portia just shuts it down, then Shamia brings up to Drew, um, so are you dating Dennis? And then it kind of cuts off there. So I'm here for it. I'm here for episode 2. We'll just take it episode by episode. But I'm looking forward to next episode. And like I said, I was very much entertained, pleasantly surprised. We'll see. Things will probably get dicey when Kenya all of a sudden is no more in the episodes, but we'll see how they address it and how they handle it. But for now, today, I'm here for Atlanta Housewives. Let me know your thoughts below. How'd you feel about the episode? Are you excited for what's to come? How are you feeling about the newbies? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Please remember to like the video, share, subscribe. Let's go ahead and just build a community and have some fun. So I will see you guys later, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Bye.